Hi, welcome to Embracing the In-Between and Inner Space Journey series, where we go and explore places and spaces within ourselves that you may have not done before deliberately. You may have gone there in dream time or in other ways, but we're going to intentionally go to spaces within that multidimensionality of ourselves and expand, explore, and awaken our senses in these other ethereal physical worlds, if you will, that again that we don't normally get to explore unless you're just at dream time at night, and or you've gotten to these places in other ways. Okay, so it's a way for us to free up space in the body and the energetic fields, to you know release things that may not be serving us anymore. Physical, usually if there's any pain in the body, it wasn't taken care of at an energetic level. So we're going and freeing up those spaces mentally, emotionally, and then physically, integrating the causal, the light body, in with our physical body. And yeah, if you haven't done this before, check out the introduction to this series and you'll get a little bit more familiar with what this is all about if you haven't partaken in these sessions yet. Okay. And yeah, this is a beautiful place for you to realize that source, your inner being, your higher self, creator, God, whatever you refer to the higher powers to be, they're always looking out from your eyes, and that we are an extension of them. And so we get to have that nice interplay in between and really have some fun. And so for this session, we're going to be exploring our dragon self, that larger, expansive part of ourselves, and really have some fun exploring this realm of the dragon. Okay, you might hear a little bit of noise around 45-minute mark. My heater went on. I tried to get the space to be as quiet as possible. I can't always do that, but for the most part, it is quiet this time. Last time, I think my cat meowed at minute mark like 20. But I do the best I can with that. But this time my heater went on. So again, we go real deep, we go quiet, much like a meditation space. So I try to get the space to be as quiet as possible, to do it early in the morning time, and where there's not planes flying overhead or neighbors bumping around or anything. But I did pretty well. It's just that you might hear that around the 45-minute mark. Just a heads up there. And I do get up to shut it off. But other than that, it's pretty quiet, so it won't shock you out of, like, because you can go deep into the space. It won't shock you out as you're feeling really relaxed in the space. And I feel like that's all for now. Again, listen to the introduction if you haven't done this, so you get a little bit more familiar with how we roll here. So yeah, let's have some fun. Let's dive in. Okay, you're settling into your space, either laying down or sitting up. And as you're relaxing into your space, take a deep breath into your heart space. So the breath breathes you, but here we're going to be co-creating with spirit. So you're going to choose by your focus, your deliberate focus on your breath. So as you're breathing, and you're listening to the instructions, on your breath of choice, breathe deeply in, and on your out breath, you're going to let that breath out and just let it fall. And let it fall out, and there'll be a pause. We want you to pause on the out breath and wait to breathe in. Now, you may be quick at first with the first breath of this, but the pause will get longer. So we're going to stay here with the breath. So breathe in, again, with your breath of choosing, when you're ready. And there's a pause at the end. And then you just gently breathe in. So it'll be a nice, gentle flow with the breathing. But there'll be a pause at the end of that out breath. As you're relaxing more into your space. Allowing the body to settle briefly for this session. So as you're doing this, you're noticing that your body is relaxing more, being more present into this space. At the same time as doing this breathing, we're going to do a body scan. So you're going to start at your feet and bring your awareness to the bottom of your feet. And we're just going to scan around the feet, the toes, the bottom of the feet, around the sides. And you're going to work your way up. So around the top of your feet and around your ankles, back and front, up through the legs. And you are going to have your own pace with this. So you don't have to go with the instruction. It's just a guidance. As you move up the legs, behind the knees, you might be in a different space at this point. You're just going to go up the legs, go through the torso, your hips, below your stomach, up around your stomach, in the back of your back. So you're just going to swirl around like a snake-like energy, awareness. And just take note. We're just going to go up and down the body a couple times with awareness and attention. Up through the stomach, the heart space, through the throat, back and front, the head, all around the face, the skull, the brain, and everything in between. The top of the head. By the time you get to the top of the head, you can go about 3 feet above the head and work your way back down again. Now, again, this is just simply guidance. You might be in different spaces at this point. Your attention might be brought to the flow of your blood and the pumping of your heart, or other places and spaces that you are noticing as you're breathing. So you're noticing you're in two different places. You're focusing on your breath, and then you're focusing on paying attention to your physical body and noticing your relaxation too. So that's 3 places. You could be 4, 5. We're in many different places at once. We're just becoming aware of this. So continue to breathe and scan the body. You may be simply just allowing your breath to breathe you at this point without having to do the deep breath in and then allowing it to go all the way out and then falling at the pause. Or maybe you're allowing your breath to just have a flow like that. And this is your breathing state for the session. Doing a really good job. And put a smile on your face. Notice happy. Notice relaxed. Even if you have emotions that are off to the side or up front even, you're allowing them to subside for the session. You have a purpose personified here. Back to the breath. Notice love. Notice the love that you have for yourself. Even if it's been a while since you've noticed that. It's there somewhere. Notice a time when you felt love for somebody. A child, a furry friend, perhaps a tree out in nature, the sun upon you. The love of Creator for your life, and that sacred breath that you're focusing on now. Okay, so now you are perfectly positioned to now go a bit deeper into the space. Sometimes we choose our space out in nature to begin our journey. But for this session, and you can play around with this, but we're going to start out in a forest. And bring yourself to this forest. You might want to sit down on the ground there and ground yourself. Notice the temperature. The time of day is early morning. The sun has just broken through the trees. And it's moist, a bit foggy, but you can see that sun coming through the trees. As you're breathing, you might notice the time period even. Look around. Notice the forest floor. Notice the trees. Notice, you can tell the energy emanating from the trees, pulsing. Perhaps you can see colors. Perhaps there's other beings there. And they notice you. So as you're looking around, within your third eye, you can see that there's a cave in the distance. There's a cave here in this forest. And just notice it. You might feel like that you are just making this up, and indeed you are. Imaging it in, making it real. It'll take practice, perhaps, or it may come natural for you. So, as you're breathing and noticing yourself, notice how you feel. Notice any emotions that's coming up. Any thoughts. It could be any of the range of them. Uncertainty, perhaps, or not sure, yeah? Or an excitement, a giddiness. This is fun. This is fun. So I want you to get up and move through the trees. There's no particular path. It's going to lead you to the entrance of this cave. You might be there already, or you may still be moving on your direction to this. Maybe catch a beam of the sun in your eye or on your skin as you're moving. When you get to the entrance, look around the entrance. You might notice that there's some crystals maybe some clear quartz crystals or different variations of crystals, colors. Notice might be one or two on either side. We want you to touch one of those crystals and it'll lighten up. And you'll walk through the threshold into this cave. And as you're breathing, you're safe and loved. Very loved. It's a beautiful space. You can lighten up from the inside of yourself as if you're glowing. And you'll begin to notice that the cave is not so dark. It also starts to lighten up as you move into it. So as you're walking into this cave, you're going to be moving towards a space and you'll notice sounds, maybe some trickling of some water. You might hear a presence. As you're moving closer to this space inside. There's somebody waiting for you here. There's a rather large presence. Loving, beautiful and radiant being. Take a good deep breath into your heart space. So at first, it may not be so light. For some of you, it may be at this point, and you're beginning to see the presence of what you consider to be a dragon. Now, this dragon knows you're there and is very relaxed, has been waiting for you to arrive. You just sit down where it's comfortable there. And like we did when we first came to the entrance and you noticed the crystals, however that happened for you, notice them here, and they're everywhere. They're on the sides, on the walls above, in different angles, dangling down and out. Some of them are really large. Again, the colors appear to how you need them to appear. Some of them could be amethyst crystals. Some of them can be aquamarine or rubies, or maybe a bunch of combinations. But draw yourself to one, and that one crystal will lighten up. It will come to you. Here, the laws of gravity and things are not part of the show. They'll come to you as like a living being. You'll find one in your hand. As a guide, if you will, as a friend. you notice this dragon kind of waking up in a way, is now taking interest in you, looking at you. You might notice the eyes are the same color as the crystal. Radiant, expanding. It's like you can't stop looking. Even if it's just one eye of this dragon. So here, you might be hearing sounds that are now coming into play. You know, sounds of birds or more of the water might be getting louder. The air, the elements. Perhaps this dragon is talking to you, saying something without even moving its mouth, speaking telepathically, even if it's just one word or message or whatever that is. Pay attention to that as you're breathing. And now, if you can, make eye contact. Jump into the dragon and look out from the eyes. Now, that might sound awkward to some of you, like you have to effort or try. There's no efforting here. Even if you might find a little bit of difficulty doing this, continue to stretch your imagination and make it up. Even if you don't feel like you're looking out from the eyes quite yet. Maybe you're walking alongside, and that's okay too. There's no wrong or right way of doing this. You might feel expansive for those of you who have now come in being this dragon. Big, tall. Like that cave is a little bit too small for you. But it still leaves room for you to get up. Not quite stretch out your wings. Maybe some of your dragon's small and hasn't reached to the extent, and you get plenty of room to stretch out those wings. That's okay too. Have fun with this. Play as you're breathing. You might feel sensations of joy and happiness and a content and a feeling of adventure. This is fun. You had when you were a little child. What's going to happen next? That. So we want you to move in a direction, even if you're not hearing the sound of water or air coming through the cave. And as you move, you're going to get closer to an exit, like when the entrance, when you moved in. And this exit, you're going to notice the light. It's going to get brighter as you approach this. And it's as if all you see is light. There's nothing else appearing at this entrance, at this exit, at this portal, if you will, as you're breathing. This real bright light. And depending on how close you are at this point, you don't really see anything on the other side, but you might be able to see a little bit of shapes or sense a temperature or smell, hearing, as if it might be a jungle that's tropical. Birds and sounds and movements and activity. We want you to move through. And you're going to come out, and it's going to be daytime, light. Lots of movement going on as you step out of the cave. Breathe. Look around. This is a land of enchantment. It's a beautiful space. The sacred, high energy, high frequencies. You could say there's no shadow here. There's nothing that is missing of from the light. It's expansive. It's an opportunity to apply that which has been dormant for many lifetimes, for eons of time. You know this space. You recognize this Garden of Eden, if you will. So as you're walking out, stretch. Stretch out. Stretch your wings. And there's a vast expanse. So you're not in the way of trees. It's a space where it's open and you can fly. So we want you to fly. It might be even like looking like it's a cliff that you went off of. And then below you, it just goes on for eternity. Yet you can see everything below you. Eternal, expansive, and it's growing. It's continuing to expand and grow with your attention and awareness to it. Notice your body. Notice your heart space. Notice your stomach area. Notice your third eye. You might want to swallow. If some of you need to drink some water, anytime if you need to get up to go. We know we're very thickly into this, but if you have to go to the bathroom or drink some water, please do so. Pause and then come back. So, breathe. And some of you might have already taken flight and moving around. Notice all of the water that's moving around. Images of pools or even oceans passing by. Rivers, lakes, and waterfalls, and all sorts of different ways in which water is moving. In and around you, as you're flying free. There's landing spaces in the sky. There's islands. We want you to Notice a particular island on this in the sky. They're like stairs and steps, but they're vast. It's like a world in its own. And I want you to land onto one of these islands. Breathe. Beautiful pools with lush green vegetation. Everything is right here. There's freedom to explore with no hidden endurance. As you're breathing out all of that stuff that doesn't belong here. And you breathe in this crystallized air, fresh of all fresh, pure, pure air, mixed with moisture and the perfect mixture. Just the right breeze, just the right temperature. You might want to move towards one of those pools and then step into that pool and bathe yourself and have fun. Splash around. Notice others, other beings, other worldly beings. Some of them may be familiar in a way, but may look new to you because they've expanded too. This water that you're splashing in and you're noticing, it's filling up and cleansing out any of the things that you noticed when you did your body scan. Maybe there are certain areas of your body, your physical body, your mental emotions, things that just you took note of that really don't belong there anymore. Not here. And allow this water to take it. You cannot pollute this place. It's impossible. It's here for you, welcoming you, calling you. It's been waiting for you. It replenishes. That's all it does. It's a continued replenishment. All your cells. Refresh. Recover. Rediscover aspects of yourself that you may have forgotten. There's no time here. So that there's no time for you to go to the past. Because this place doesn't have a past. Everything was present. Forgotten, but has expanded since. It's just a forward movement. You may notice the others around you now too, if you haven't already. Everyone that's in this space, those joining in at any time for the session, whenever, you'll notice them. They may be several, maybe 5, 10, 20, or even 50 other dragons, or maybe more. You might sense that there's so many more. Some who have been here for a pretty long time, out of time. It's a place where you don't want to leave, and you won't. You'll take this with you. You'll take it into your meditation space. You'll take it into your dream time space tonight, tomorrow, the next few nights. Bring it out for 2 weeks even, or further. This is a space where you can always visit. We're awakening the senses. There's really nothing to do because there's no time, so there's no having to get to or go anywhere, but you'll find that you'll just want to explore as you're breathing. Your sacred breath. If there's anything that you're taking from this session, is the expanding of your breath. And allowing yourself to have a full breath in and a full breath out. Perhaps some of you had some things happen when you were younger or earlier in life or whenever that stopped your breath from going all the way in. So you may notice that it's going further in when you breathe in, even if it's micro movements in or breathing out. Those moments where we were frightened or something scared us, we tend to stop the breath in at those times and not know it. So here, in this magical land, it's not even a land, it's an ever-growing expanse. It's something that's not even part of what you knew to be on Earth. Worlds are here, much like Earth, but the way, the physics, the gravity works here is much, much different. Waterfalls might be moving up instead of down, or sideways or around. With your inner sight, you can close your eyes there, here, and see beyond. Places that don't exist until you bring your attention to it, that, and what it is becoming right now. Now say within you, in your mind, within your being, I am beautiful. I am beautiful. I love myself. I love me. This is fun. I'm having fun. I feel great. I can be. I can simply be. I can expand. I'm becoming. I am. This is beautiful. I am this beauty. I am that in which I'm experiencing. We want you to notice now, you can have any experience that you like. You know, you might be listening to this voice, but you may be off on a totally different adventure. This is your show. This is your space. We are just your guide. That you might, just for a second, notice in which you started out in that cave. In the gleam of your third eye, look over. Notice the pathways and the, if you will, the sacred geometrical turns that you took to get here. And anything that comes up and rises up is meant for you to show you, is meant for you to pay attention to. You're leaving behind that which you don't need to carry anymore. You're lighting yourself up. You're lightening the load. You're freeing yourself. So fly around, explore this space. Come out of the pools if you haven't already and fly around, move up and around. You could go at real fast speeds or maybe a gentle glide up and around. You may have changed too. You, as the dragon, your colors may have changed. Perhaps you've turned into pure light. It's like a glowing ball of light. Maybe you're swirling rainbow pastel colors. This is your show. It's showing you it for a reason. Those colors are frequencies. They're here for healing. They're here for you to play with on your canvas. Your inner child, you give a child some paints or crayons or markers and you give them a surface to paint or create on and they just start going with it. This is the same space. So let's have a bit of fun here. Gather together, all you dragons. And fly together, heart to heart, in the sky of this space. Notice each other. Like, I know you. I recognize you by your heart space, by the feeling that I get of love. I know you. I've known you for a very long time, out of time. We have risen. We heard the call, and here we are. Radiant, beautiful. Creating, being who we are, with no obstruction or hindrance. This is satisfying. I'm happy about this. I feel so much joy in my heart. What's next? Yay. I'm looking forward to what we all can do together. So, what you do now is to make your way back to that exit point, which will be the entrance into the cave. And you might get there right now, but you may still be exploring and expanding and being in your joy and happiness, because this is just fun. So you take your time. There's no time. Make your movements back. You'll notice that there's a light, kind of like a lighthouse flicker, and you'll see it, and it's coming from the inside of the cave. You lit up all those crystals inside that cave, and they've been waiting for you to come back. So you make your way back to that. As you get through, you move through the threshold. It's not dark in there. It's actually more lit up than it was. Just like when you exited. It's just like that. It's as if that world that you entered here, you're bringing it with you. It's changed. Notice that. Breathe. It feels different. You're not going to leave your dragon behind. You are that. You are the shapeshifter. You have risen this part of yourself during this session. You're taking it with you. You don't need to take a crystal with you or gather them in your pocket, if you will, because this is part of your heart space. It's always here. So as you're moving through this cave, you're going to come out in the human form, yet notice that you're still the dragon. It's both. It's both. You come out to this forest again in which you started. But notice something's different here. There may be a pathway already lit up where it wasn't a pathway to begin with. You had to meander through the trees. We want you to get back to the place where you started. Okay? And breathe. You'll notice it, but it too has changed. And from this point on, you're never the same. You are so loved, beautiful. Look at yourself. Notice yourself. Take this with you. You can come back at any time. Out of time? So we want you to stretch out your arms, move your fingers. As you come back, move your legs, wiggle your toes. You can at this point open your eyes if you have, them covered. Take your time with that, depending on how your room is, if it's dark or not. We want you just to open your eyes and look around. And be present in your space. And take this with you for the remainder of your days.